3 hours. That is how long my 8-year-old daughter sat inside a storm drain after my father threw her out of his house. Rain in her hair, blood on her feet, thunder shaking the concrete around her. She was 52 pounds. She was wearing pajamas. And he did it because a 10-year-old boy lied. By the time I reached the hospital, my daughter was wrapped in a thermal blanket, shaking so hard the bed rails clicked. My father walked into that room and said, "She needed to learn what happens when she lies." He had no idea I had already made the call. Welcome back to Valora Stories. My name is Darcy Ingram. I was 32 years old, a first lieutenant in the Army, and that night was the last time anyone in my family ever had power over my child. I joined the Army at 18 because it was the only door my father could not slam in my face. Ray Ingram believed daughters were supposed to stay close, marry early, answer politely, and never embarrass the family. My sister Jenna did exactly that. She married Derek Walsh at 21, had her son Tyler a year later, and moved 10 minutes from my parents' house. My father adored her. He adored Tyler even more. Tyler had a bedroom at my parents' house before my daughter ever had a drawer. I chose ROTC, Officer Candidate School, and then a logistics commission out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Every mile I moved away from home made my father colder. When I got pregnant at 25, he barely spoke to me for 3 months. The father, Marcus, disappeared when I was 6 months along. No goodbye, no apology, just an empty apartment and a note that said, "I'm not ready." So I had Lily alone. I raised her in base housing on military pay, with meal plans, daycare schedules, and every scrap of leave I could fight for. She was tiny, bright-eyed, and fearless in the way only loved children are fearless. She asked questions about everything. Why do helicopters sound angry? Why does cereal get soft? Why do grown-ups say fine when they are absolutely not fine? I used to tell her, "Because grown-ups are weird, baby." She would laugh and say, "You're weird too, Mommy." And she was right. When I got orders for a 9-month rotation in Kuwait, I had 72 hours to finalize my family care plan. Any military parent knows that form. You name a caregiver. You sign temporary custody paperwork. You hand your child to someone you trust. Then you fly halfway across the world and pray you chose right. My parents volunteered before I asked. My mother called the morning after I told her. "She's our granddaughter," she said. "Of course we'll take her." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. I set up an automatic transfer of $1,200 a month for food, clothes, school, anything Lily needed. My father never mentioned the money. Later, I learned why. He did not want Jenna knowing Lily came with support. He wanted that house to look like his sacrifice. Jenna's son Tyler was already practically living there. He had baseball posters, a rocket nightlight, a drawer full of clothes. When Lily arrived with her suitcase, my mother put her in the guest room. A pull-out couch, no curtains, no nightlight, no place that felt like hers. I did not know that then. Lily did not tell me. And when I asked my mother if she was settled, she smiled into the phone and said, "She's adjusting just fine." That was the first lie. The night before I deployed, I sat on Lily's bed and clipped her military-dependent ID into the inside pocket of her backpack. She touched the plastic card. "What's that for?" "This tells anyone who finds you that you belong to me." She looked at me. "Even if you're in another country?" "Even then." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "What if Grandpa gets mad again?" Again. That word should have stopped me. I put down the shirt I was folding. "Mad how?" She picked at her blanket. "Like when Tyler breaks something and Grandpa thinks I did it." "Has Grandpa ever scared you?" She shrugged. An 8-year-old shrug. The kind that means yes, but I don't know how to say it. I told myself I would watch closely from overseas. I told myself my father was strict, not dangerous. I was wrong. Kuwait was hot, flat, and 18 hours ahead of Tennessee. I called Lily every week at 6 in the morning my time, noon back home. But my mother was always in the frame, always behind Lily, always smiling. "How's school, baby?" "Fine. What did you do today?" "Stuff." Lily used to talk for 20 minutes straight. Now she gave one-word answers and looked past the camera like someone was standing there with a script. I asked my mother if I could speak to Lily alone. "The Wi-Fi is better in the kitchen," she said. I should have pushed. I didn't. Then Lily stopped mentioning Tyler. No stories, no games, no jokes, just silence. When I asked, "Are you and Tyler okay?" she looked down and said, "Can I go now? Grandma says lunch is ready." The first real warning came in a care package. My mother sent gummy bears, a school photo, and a drawing Lily had made. On the left side of the page, she had drawn my parents, Jenna, Tyler, all holding hands. On the right side, one small girl stood alone. No smile, brown hair, no one touching her. At the bottom, in careful handwriting, Lily had written, "My family." My daughter had drawn herself outside her own family. I called my father immediately. "She drew herself alone," I said. He grunted. "Kids draw nonsense." "She drew everyone else together." "Darcy, maybe if you were here instead of playing soldier across the ocean, your daughter wouldn't draw sad pictures." Then he hung up. I wrote everything down. Date, time, exact words. That was the first page in the notebook that would later ruin him. After that, I checked everything. School portal, attendance, pickup logs, teacher notes. Tyler was picked up at 3:15 every day by my father. Lily stayed in extended care until 5:30, sometimes almost 6. Tyler went home to snacks and television. My daughter sat at school 2 extra hours every day. When I called the office, the receptionist lowered her voice. "Lily is doing well academically, but she's very quiet now." Quiet. Everyone kept saying that word like it was harmless. Then Lily's school counselor called me. Her name was Gail Patterson. She said Lily had been withdrawn since January. She ate lunch alone. She flinched when adults raised their voices. Then she said the sentence that made me grip the phone so hard my hand hurt. "Lily told me her grandfather said she is not a real Ingram." I closed my eyes. My father had said those words to me when I joined the army. Real Ingrams stay. Now he was saying it to my child. I called my sister Jenna the next day. I thought 2 mothers could talk honestly. I was wrong again. "Is Lily okay at Mom and Dad's?" I asked. Jenna sighed. "She's fine. She just needs to learn her place." Learn her place. What does that mean, Jenna? It means Tyler has been there longer. He knows the routine. Lily acts like a guest. She is 8. Tyler did chores at 8. Tyler has 2 parents and his own bedroom. Lily has a pull-out couch. Silence. Then Jenna said, "Honestly, maybe you should let Mom and Dad adopt her. You're never here anyway." My whole body went cold. Adopt my daughter? She needs stability, Darcy. A real family environment. I hung up. That night, I contacted Captain Elena Rivera in JAG. "Document everything," she said. "Before anything happens, not after." So I did. Drawings, school notes, pickup logs, texts, call summaries. I built a file while my family kept building their lie. 3 weeks before my hardship reassignment was approved, Tyler told the lie that sent Lily into the storm. My mother had a pearl necklace. It had belonged to her mother and grandmother. She treated it like a holy object. One Sunday, she let Tyler hold it at dinner. Lily asked quietly, "Can I hold it too?" My mother did not even look at her. "Not right now, sweetheart. You might drop it." Tyler smirked. That is the kind of small cruelty adults pretend children do not notice. Children notice everything. A few weeks later, I was back in Tennessee. My reassignment had come through early. I landed at Nashville, rented a car, checked into a hotel 12 minutes from my parents' house, and did not tell them. Rivera told me, "Go to the school first. Do not confront your parents yet. Let the process work." So, I went to Millbridge Elementary. Mrs. Patterson was waiting with a folder. 6 months of Lily's drawings. In September, Lily was small but smiling. In October, a gap appeared between her and the family. In December, she drew my father as a huge red face with a wide-open mouth. In January, she drew Tyler surrounded by balloons and presents. In the corner, she drew herself alone with an X over her body. In February, she drew 2 figures, one small girl, one woman in green uniform, holding hands. The caption said, "What I want." I sat in the school parking lot and cried into my hands. Not soft tears, not pretty tears, the kind that come from guilt so deep it feels physical. That afternoon, I parked across from my parents' house. Tyler came home first. My father met him at the curb, took his backpack, ruffled his hair. 20 minutes later, Lily got off the bus. She walked up the driveway. The front door was closed. She knocked. My 8-year-old daughter knocked on the door of the house she had been living in for over a year. My mother opened it and said, Wipe your shoes and pick up your things. No hug, no smile, no welcome home. I almost went in right then, but I waited. The next night, I drove back to the house again. I heard my father through the door. I told you to clean after dinner. I did clean, Grandpa. Don't talk back. Then footsteps on stairs. Then silence. My hand was on the car door handle. Rivera's voice was in my head. If you confront them now, they'll play victim. So I drove away. That was the hardest thing I ever did. And it almost cost my daughter everything. That night the storm came. Rain sideways, wind shaking gutters, branches snapping. At 8:30, my mother went upstairs to get her pearl necklace. The velvet box was empty. She panicked. She searched her dresser, the bathroom, the hallway. Then Tyler walked into the room and said, "I saw Lily put something in her backpack. She was being sneaky." That was all it took. My father did not ask one question. He walked to the guest room, grabbed Lily's backpack, and unzipped it. The necklace was inside. Tyler had planted it there after school. He later admitted it. But that night, my father believed him instantly. "Lily, get down here." She came downstairs in pajamas, star print pants, a shirt that said future scientist, bare feet, no jacket, no phone. My father held up the necklace. "You stole this." "I didn't. It was in your bag. I don't know how it got there." "Tyler saw you." She looked at Tyler. He looked at the floor. My mother stood behind my father holding the necklace like it mattered more than the child in front of her. Jenna arrived 10 minutes later. She crossed her arms and said, "This is what happens when a child has no structure." My father leaned over Lily. "Tyler doesn't lie." Thunder cracked hard enough to rattle the windows. Lily backed against the stairs. She did not cry. She went still. Then my father opened the front door. Rain blew into the hallway. He shoved her backpack at her. "You want to act like you don't belong here? Fine, get out." My mother said, "Ray, maybe we should—" "No, she needs to learn what happens when she disrespects this family." Jenna said, "Dad's right." Lily looked at each adult in that hallway. My father, my mother, her aunt, her cousin. Not one of them chose her. So she stepped outside, into a thunderstorm, barefoot, in pajamas. My father slammed the door behind her. Next door, Mrs. Calloway was rinsing a plate when she saw a small figure walking in the rain. She called 911. Inside my parents' house, my mother sat at the kitchen table with the necklace in her hands. "Maybe we should let her back in," she whispered. My father said, "She'll come back when she's ready to apologize." Lily walked 4 blocks before she found a storm drain large enough to crawl into. She sat inside it for 3 hours, hugging her knees, backpack over her head, waiting for someone to want her back. A police officer named Gutierrez found her. His flashlight caught the reflector on her backpack. She was shaking so hard she could not speak. Her feet were bleeding. Her lips were blue. At the hospital, a nurse checked her backpack for ID. Inside the pocket was the military dependent card I had clipped there before I deployed. Emergency contact. First Lieutenant Darcy Ingram. My phone rang at 9:37. I was at the hotel, 12 minutes away. "This is County General Hospital. We have your daughter, Lily Ingram." I was in the car before the nurse finished the sentence. I ran into the ER soaked from the parking lot. Room 4. Lily was in a hospital bed, IV in her arm, thermal blanket around her shoulders, hair damp, eyes closed. I sat beside her and took her hand. "I'm here, baby. I'm not leaving." Her eyes opened. "Mommy?" "Yeah, I'm right here." In her other hand was a crumpled drawing. 2 stick figures, one small, one in green, holding hands. 20 minutes later, the hospital social worker came in. Nancy Odom, gray cardigan, clipboard, professional voice. "I'm required to file a report with Child Protective Services." "I understand." "Who was responsible for Lily tonight?" "My parents, Ray and Connie Ingram. They are temporary caregivers under my military family care plan." "Was she sent out of the house?" "I believe so." "Do you have documentation?" I looked at Lily, then back at the social worker. "Yes, I have a lot." I called Rivera. "It happened." "I'm on my way," she said. 1 hour later, my father walked into the hospital room. He saw Lily first. Then he saw me. His hands started shaking. "You can't be here." "I've been here for an hour. You're supposed to be overseas." I came back early. My mother walked in behind him. She saw Lily and started crying. If you had been here, none of this would have happened. I looked at her. I trusted you to be here for her. My father pointed at Lily. She stole your mother's necklace. No, she didn't. Tyler saw. Do not say his name in this room. He stepped toward me. You called CPS on your own parents? The hospital did. Because that is what happens when an 8-year-old ends up in the emergency room during a thunderstorm with no guardian. A nurse appeared at the door. Visitors need to keep their voices down. I stood. Leave. My father's face turned red. She's my granddaughter. She is my daughter. They left. My mother's crying echoed down the hall. At 1 a.m, Lily woke up. Am I in trouble? No. Tyler put it in my bag. I know. I saw him. But Grandpa never listens when it's about Tyler. I smoothed her hair back. He's going to listen now. Then I opened my laptop and sent everything to Rivera. School records, drawings, pickup logs, counselor notes, Mrs. Calloway's number, my green notebook. Everything. By Monday morning, CPS was at my parents' house. My father said Lily ran off on her own. My mother said Lily went outside for air. Mrs. Calloway said he opened the door, pushed her backpack at her, and told her to get out. She was barefoot. The investigator wrote it down. Then Tyler was interviewed. At first, he lied. Then the child specialist asked him where he saw Lily put the necklace. He said kitchen, then hallway, then living room. 3 different answers in 30 seconds. Finally, he broke. I put it in her bag. Why? He looked at his hands. Mom said Lily needed to learn her place. Jenna tried to interrupt. The specialist stopped her. Tyler whispered. She said if Lily got in trouble, Grandpa would send her away, and things would go back to normal. That was the sentence that ended my sister's version of the story. 3 days later, we sat in a CPS conference room. My parents on one side, me and Captain Rivera on the other. A recorder on the table, a stack of paperwork between us. The investigator read her findings. Inconsistent caregiver statements, witness report, Tyler's admission, school counselor documentation, hospital records, exposure injuries. My father tried to interrupt. This is a family matter. The investigator looked at him. An 8-year-old was hospitalized with hypothermia. This is a child welfare matter, my mother cried. We made one mistake. I looked at her. No, you made one mistake in front of witnesses. The rest just finally got written down. Rivera opened the folder. Family care plan revoked. Emergency custody review filed. No unsupervised contact. Supervised visitation only. My father stared at the papers. You're throwing away your own family over this? I said. You threw my daughter into a storm. I'm building her a roof. He had no answer. For the first time in my life, my father had no answer. When we walked out, Lily was waiting in the lobby with a young paralegal reading her a children's book. She ran to me. Are we going home? Yes, baby. Our home? Our home. 3 months later, Lily and I were living on base at Fort Campbell. 2 bedrooms, lavender curtains, a desk by the window where she drew every night after dinner. Family court gave me sole legal and physical custody. My parents got 2 hours of supervised visitation every other Saturday. First visit, my father brought a coloring book. He sat across from Lily in a plastic chair and did not know what to say. So they colored horses for 45 minutes. He never raised his voice. Not once. My mother sent gifts through the visitation center. Jenna stopped calling. Tyler wrote Lily a note. I'm sorry I lied about the necklace. Lily asked if she had to write back. I said, no, you get to choose. She wrote back 3 days later. It's okay. I hope you get better. That was my daughter. Still kinder than the people who hurt her. I used to think protecting your child meant feeding them, housing them, and making sure they were surrounded by family. I was wrong. Protecting your child means making sure the people around them deserve the word family. That night, Lily asked me one question. Mommy, am I still in Ingram? I looked at her and said, no, baby, you're mine. And after that storm, that was the only family name that mattered. If your father did this to your child, what would you have done? And what state are you watching from right now?